Good late Thursday, early Friday. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you a look at that current Doppler radar and those temperatures there across the region. You can see a pretty big contrast between areas there like Ocala at 53 degrees right now, and there toward Albany at 40, even Tifton at 39, Waycross 39, Homerville at 38 there in toward South Georgia. So kind of telling that story. We're in that holiday period now, and you can kind of see here some of those showered off toward the east. I know some folks do have to work today, but just generally getting in the word that Christmas holiday season here, and of course we'll be looking ahead toward New Year's as well as we get toward about a week and a little over that away from this point, closer to a week and a half. But you can kind of see here as we're looking some shower acts in toward Flagler County, but it's very light. A lot of it probably not reaching the ground there. And you can see a lot of that there, more focused toward the coastal waters at this point. So that's kind of the storyline as we're looking at things. I know we headed up there as we were heading in toward this update. Do have some river flood warnings here across the region. All that rain we had toward the weekend here starting to cause more issues in that regard, even that we don't see as much. I haven't seen as much around here lately with some alerts. So let's kind of try to go over a few of those here real quick as we're looking. I know we have a river flood warning situation there continuing toward areas around Perry. It looks like Lamont further off toward the west, but even the St. Mary's River at McClinney, that continues here. We have some other information just kind of telling the story. Santa Fe River near High Springs. You can kind of get the idea. Santa Fe River near Oviedo State Park. So just some of the sampling here of some of those flood alerts as we're kind of seeing some things here. Definitely quite a bit of precip here, but not in the last few days. We will see a period with calmer conditions remaining here earlier on in the weekend, the traditional weekend here. Saturday and most of Sunday be pretty dry, but late Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day, unfortunately, it looks like we're going to see some rain around, so it might be more of an indoor Christmas here for a lot of the day. For a lot of you, there still might be breaks in. It's not going to be alert mode per se. Can't completely run a stray severe storm, something like that, a stray strong storm, but not too big of a deal at this point. We're watching though, and of course, if we need to come on the air, we will. But again, just kind of giving you guys an idea of what we're talking about, looking at some different things here across the region, just trying to give you guys the very latest here. Seeing those different river flood warnings here in some of those areas of the viewing circle. Always important to take note of, always important to keep an eye on here because those do affect a few folks out there as we're looking in towards some of those regions. But we're going to go ahead now and recap more of that precip that we had there over last weekend. We were on hour after hour for all of that, of course, giving you guys the very latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. So let's go ahead and just, if you guys weren't with me for all that coverage Sunday morning, very early Sunday morning to about 10 a.m. or so, and then we came back around the lunch hour for a little while. I know we're in, again, that holiday mode per se as we're looking, and we're not going to have a formal update this coming Tuesday or the following Tuesday, but we're going to have formal updates the following here Thursday, and soon, of course, this coming Thursday as well. So just stay tuned for those. And of course, if we need to be on the air, we will. But as we were there Sunday morning, but you can see, look at all this rain there. That was really telling the story how soggy things got, and this kind of shows you why. I mean, this went down here, but other areas, I mean, with the rivers and the like, it's going to take a little bit longer because we really got saturated out there with all that precip. In fact, I mean, this is from a low pressure system here. A very unusual setup here. The December deluge, we could call a number of things. The Gulf low, just a very deep low pressure. I mean, for Stark specifically, not for Lake Perry and some of those areas that were just devastated by Idalia. I mean, the pressure was similar in this event at 996.7 here as we got out toward the west. Similar numbers there as we had in Stark in this event, but in Idalia much lower. But lower means stronger, and in theory here, this meant it was a stronger event, this event over the weekend than Nicole, Dahlia, or Ian here for Stark specifically. Now, there is, I mean, again, you have much lower numbers in events like a Dahlia, Nicole, I mean, further down toward the Space Coast, and of course, Ian, of course, Royal Low down towards Southwest Florida. So, again, it's all relative here, but in this event for this area, of Bradford County specifically, we were at a lower pressure, which is kind of interesting looking at my barometer here. Of course, normally we were quite a bit lower than this, but that goes back a little bit further. We're using a different tool, so I didn't want to include that in here, but it was quite a bit lower in that regard, stronger impact from that than this. And Debbie, I know, maybe not with the pressure as much, but just with the rainfall. We got much more rain in Debbie, as well as Irma, as I'm about to say, though, here compared to Nicole, Dahlia, and Ian. This was more rainfall for us. You can see Nicole there last year, Ian last year, Dahlia still this year for a little longer. You can see we got quite a bit more rain in this event than those, but going back to 2017 with Irma, we ended up having here quite a bit more rain during that. It was coming down very quick, and same with Debbie back in 2012. So it's all relative here. This wasn't a tropical or subtropical system, wasn't a named system. It would have got events if it was, but the pressure was similar in some ways. It's a different time of year. There were some fronts attached that didn't quite have that tropical type of characteristic enough to get that name, but it wasn't that far off in some ways. Different time of year, I'd probably never acquire things there a little easier. As you noticed, still maybe watching our coverage, it was a little bit harder to pick up that center as it was coming across them with the tropical system too, but the little pressures were there, as you could kind of tell. And we'll go ahead and say it now. Some of the winds, these are only measured at 6 feet, so it's kind of all relative again, because we know we had so much higher winds during the Dahlia there, back off toward Perry. I mean, talking about gusts, they're measured in the 90 range or so, I recall. In other areas, I mean, I'm sure we had a lot stronger, but officially that's about what we saw, I believe, out that way, as we were looking at some of those numbers. And you probably had winds well over that there, but at 6 feet at least here, and this towards Stark, where our gauge is, this event here had higher winds than Dahlia and Ian. Now, Nicole, we actually had a couple higher gusts, 41 and 42 miles an hour during that. Also interested in the directions here in the wind. Ian and this December deluge, the strongest winds came from the north here, kind of on the back side, I guess you could say here, just looking at things in theory, as it kind of is moving off there toward the east, the lowest pressure. Nicole and Dahlia, a little bit different story, just based on how things set on up there, but just kind of interesting in that regard too. And then you see our weather prediction center next 7 days. There will be some rain around, not overwhelming, but we're going to keep our eyes on it here, of course. In the weather center, you can see towards Stark, it looks like over the next 7 days or so, about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch. While you get out toward Tallahassee, a little bit more, like 1.25 inches there. Maybe toward 1.5 inches toward Wakulla County on average. Of course, some areas get a lot more. You can see south toward here, kind of a similar storyline with the color table. Of course, when we're not on cloudweather.com/radar, gives an interactive look at things. Just kind of depends on the severity of the situation that we're dealing with here, in terms of we need to be on, I mean, both on the hyperlocal level and just in the broad scale kind of odd scenario we had this past weekend. Unusual event here for us for sure compared to many that we have. I didn't really have those flash flood warnings, tornado warnings, or thunderstorm warnings popping up. But we still needed to be on because it was a very anomalous type of scenario for us. Tallahassee, first ever high wind warning issued by those folks there, and the National Weather Service office there on the FSU campus. That was for parts of coastal Taylor and coastal Dixie, some of Dahlia vulnerable areas. And we had a wind gust to closer to 60 without rain or much rain around as we got on the back side of that low at the higher levels there as we were looking at things. So again, just kind of interesting there. But let's go ahead and now show you our coverage here. Just reminding you guys, if there's ever a tornado warning storm, and when there is a tornado warning storm within our 62 counties, we're always on to keep you guys safe and informed on all the different platforms here, Facebook, Twitter, also, of course, that's called X as well there, YouTube, there, that's at Cloud Weather, and then make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and then Twitch Cloud Weather, you have website cloudweather.com, So just kind of interesting to keep our eyes on the weather situation here across the region. And now let's go ahead and give you that broad view here of the forecast for the next 7 days. You can see 5% chance of rain on this Friday here as you look ahead to this 22nd of the month. Tomorrow 5%. Here's we're kind of late in the night at this point, so we'll call it Saturday. Tomorrow Sunday, 30% chance of rain. Monday here, 60% chance. That looks like the wettest day, unfortunately. We hope you have a Merry Christmas. That's not going to be great in terms of some of those plans you might have. Be careful on the roads. I mean, some folks are kind of already where they're going to be on that day, so maybe it's a better thing, at least in a way, that maybe the travel won't be disrupted as much if this forecast plays out like this. But when you're there with your relatives, with your family or friends or friends there, just a situation there where you might have to be inside a little bit more than you would like to be. But try to enjoy things the best you can here. Again, Merry Christmas. Not expecting severe weather here in general. Doesn't mean we couldn't get a rogue, strong, and severe storm out of this setup. So pay attention. I mean, you just always have to kind of pay attention. It's going to be warm enough here. We have that chance to some degree, but I'm not going to focus on that too much. Of course, if we get a warning, we'll let you know. And then if it's a tornado warning, for sure we'll be on severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings, using that discretion here, just based on what we're seeing with the different overall parameters with the overall atmosphere, and just even within the severe storm or potential severe storm itself. But 66 there, that average high out of the Jacksonville area there. So a little above that maybe on that Friday. You see 64 to Tallahassee, so really not too much above it, a little above here for that Saturday, that Sunday there, and Monday even with that rain around, maybe slightly above average. Those lows are going to warm up. It's not going to be as chilly as it was. And we had some of those freeze warnings, frosty advisories here toward our Georgia regions, depending on if you're eligible still for it, because Tallahassee's not really issuing a lot of those because we've already had some of those here, and that kind of makes them not get issued here unless they're like hard freeze, something like that. But as you kind of look in here, again, you can see it's going to cool off some toward later next week as we get closer toward New Year's. We'll have to look and refine the numbers some more here with the next forecast update. They're late Thursday the 28th / early Friday the 29th here. So make sure you tune for that. Hopefully we don't have to be back on between now and then, but we will be if we need to be. It's always about protecting you, your friends, and your family here in the Weather Center. Again, it's not going to be too inclement. So again, just Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays there as we're looking at things. I know we're watching that river flooding there. And the like. So that's not too big of a deal for most of us. It's not really a concern, but of course some of you near those water bodies do have to be a little bit on alert with that. I mean, it can be pretty impactful. I know, looking at some of the stuff in Baker County and the like there. It can definitely cause some issues sometimes as we look toward areas there. Like the St. Mary's River at McClenny. I know that flood warning there. We're seeing some of the different alerts. Santa Fe River there at Fort White, Alino State Park there near Worthington Springs. Just have to be kind of careful there. I know you just have to kind of see. I mean, they kind of get scattered around. It's hard to kind of keep up sometimes in the system because there's so many different ones. I know you get these after big rain events sometimes. A lot of times it's after like a hurricane or something when you really don't need the rain. But this was acting like a tropical system in some ways. So I mean, just to recap here, I'm going to try to go over these here a little bit more detail real quick. So Santa Fe River near High Springs affecting Alachua and Columbia counties. That was extended. And then the Santa Fe River at Fort White affecting Columbia and Gilchrist counties. Santa Fe River near Worthington Springs affecting Alachua and Union counties. The Santa Fe River near Alino State Park affected Alachua and Columbia counties. The Santa Fe River at Three Rivers Estates affected Suwannee, Columbia, and Gilchrist counties. So, again, we're going to keep on looking at things, whether continued or extended there. And then I know Tallahassee's office here keeping an eye on the situation as well with their alerts. Continues for the following rivers there. Yasilla River at Lamont affected Madison, Jefferson, and Taylor counties. The Inconveno River, if I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize, near Perry there affecting Taylor County. So just want to make sure you guys are at least aware of this here and are paying attention because we did get all that precip. I mean, 5.5 inches in some areas closer to 8. There are other areas, I mean, we went 2 to 4 with the isolated 8 in there. Some areas are quite a bit less in our far western zones there, northwestern zones and the like. So it's all relative here toward the region, but just trying to give you guys the very latest out there. Again, looking here at that forecast, I mean, it looks pretty good here in terms of some of those temperatures. No freezes, hard freezes, anything like that. Not going to have a white Christmas here, unfortunately. Going to be a wet Christmas, but not a white Christmas here in terms of any snow anywhere close by. Now, we'll watch things as we get toward New Year's, maybe somewhere in the southeast. We're really starting to see that pattern shift and have some wintry weather closer to New Year's. That's at least a possibility in some of the high range or high let's try that again, not the high res but the long range, there we go, the long range computer models indicating that here as we do look ahead into toward that timeline. I know things like that Jaguar game will be taking place on Sundays against the Tampa Bay Bucks in Tampa. I don't have a special graphic for that or anything, but we'll kind of watch to see if the rain holds off with that. I mean, there's a chance they could get some rain down there. Hopefully, there's no lightning or anything like that in terms of the overall setup there. As we're looking at things, it's probably going to hold off, though, until after the fact there. So that'll be some good news. Probably hold off until after that game's over with. Down there's a 4 o'clock kick on CBS. So Sunday expecting maybe some breezy conditions down there. Mostly cloudy there as we're looking. It's going to be pretty warm here. Not too crazy as we're kind of looking at some of the grids and the like. I know as you get down there, definitely one could be a factor. So that's something to kind of keep our eyes on. Low mid 70s there, depending on if you're looking at kickoff or later on in the game. Rain chances really probably hold off until after, but maybe a small one starts to creep in there later on. I know as you're looking there and as you're looking there for Santa Claus and the like, there could start to be some precipitation here coming into play. So again, we're just gonna continue here to look at everything and that overall really regime. And let's go ahead and see here. Let's go out west real quick because there's some interesting weather out west. Before we wrap it up for tonight, let's go ahead and jump on over here toward our other mode. You can see off the coast of Southern California, we had even last night toward it on Oxnard, we had a couple tornado warnings popping up there. Some radar indicated rotation, some flooding concerns. Still have some of those flooding concerns out there. And you can kind of see here, especially when rain warning off of San Diego. You don't get that very often, to be quite honest. Even some lightning out there. These temperatures in the 60s there. So as I'm looking here at some more information, I know that flooding threat here we've been kind of looking at as we've been looking towards some of the different areas. I know there is a flood watch in play there for some of these different areas. So just gotta be paying attention as we're looking. I mean, toward Los Angeles and areas there like Anaheim and San Diego. And I mean, Burbank, a flood advisory in play right now. No active flash flood warnings, tornado warnings, anything like that. But just something that's interesting if you're headed out there in Southern California there for Christmas. I know here, really, it's more about if you're already out there, but you can kind of see what we're down with here and toward that part of the nation. And you can kind of see here, I know, as we look toward Christmas, it's going to warm up. Maybe some will get out of this cloudy and gloomy pattern, get some sunshine in there. So that'll be good. I mean, for Christmas there, 68 in the Los Angeles area, if anybody's wondering. But I know this holiday travel plans, we're going to have some of this active weather and the overall pattern, again, kind of be affecting areas further on off here. And I'll be kind of paying attention to that, but didn't have to come on unless, again, if it's something local here that pops on up, we'll make sure you break in to give you guys the latest if it is warranted here. As you kind of look at the temperature trends right now here across the nation, you can see again all the different platforms that we're on. Just seeing here if there's any questions or comments here tonight. I don't see any, but again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me. Again, Merry Christmas there. Happy holidays. We hope you guys here, I hope you have the best time here as we're looking toward that holiday season. Hope you, your friends, your family have that great holiday period out there. And again, Merry Christmas.